Hey guys, it's Kangarukas here, and I'm here to talk about the card choices I played for the regional this past weekend in Garden City. DZF already did a deck profile. DZF and I already talked about the format in another video that may or may not come before this one. I'm not sure. And lastly, I actually had a tournament report on TCG Player, so I kind of covered the whole regional pretty well, except for my deck choices, which I will go over. I'll be excluding, as I'm sorting all my cards, I'll be excluding all the cards that I think they're irrelevant to talk about, such as Spellbook of Prophecy, 1 Life, 1 Fate, 2 Master, 2 Power, 2 Tower, 2 Eternity, 3 Secrets. Like, that's all stuff that, like, why, I mean, that's spellbooks. And then I'll go over other stuff starting right now. Okay. First thing I wanted to point out was I'll go over Dark Hole and Book of Moon. Or I'll post the deck list here so you can look at it for a second as I talk about this. But as you can see in the deck list, it's weird. It sounds very weird, but like spellbooks, right? I believe that, I guess before this event, that grindy spellbooks was the best way to do it. Like you're drawing 2 cards per turn. You'll eventually just have more cards than your opponent, and Fate and Priestess and I guess World kind of was just going to out advantage your opponent, and you could just get. I mean, World you just get 2 spellbooks back, even if you don't blow up the field because you don't blow up your cards. Priestess you just start popping cards left and right. I thought you would just be able to out advantage every opponent after like 10 turns, and so that's how I would win games. But I realized that the World was not necessarily my win condition, but if I resolved the World of Prophecy, if I resolved World of Prophecy, because you don't say the High Priestess, whatever. If I resolved World of Prophecy, it was. I don't think I came close to losing any games which I resolved the World of Prophecy. But I'll talk. So it was. Maybe I should have played it. I should have focused more on the grind version, or I should have focused more on the like a Turbo World version. But I did not put together. I know I did not put together the best spellbook deck, and I think in terms of consistency, that's what kind of hurt me more so. You're gonna just draw bad eventually with any deck. So I think that was whatever with the Mermail deck. But I think with the maybe against the Evil Swarm, just Ophion 5 back row was just so annoying. But 2 cards I played, Book of Moon and Dark Hole. I thought these were just good staples to have. You're not always going to have a perfect field, especially since you don't have 3 Fate anymore. Life's so hard. But I really thought that these were 2 good choices to have just as generic cards because not everything is going to be a spellbook. And additionally, I decided to play 2 Crescent. I played 3 of these for the longest time, but now that I'm playing, maybe I should have played 3 instead and not played another trap, but that's really bad as well because it's like 8 Spellbook of Secrets, kind of. I mean, you have 3 Blue Boy, 3 Secrets, and 2 of these. It's like 8 ways to get, it's like 8 first card plays, I should put it that way. I mean, if you open with one of those cards, if you open with Secrets or Blue Boy, you're in a better position. If you open this, you're in a decent position. If you have one of those and this, it's like, that's good. Like some of the best opening hands you could have is like 3 traps. Okay, not the best because getting the world off would be amazing, but like 3 really good opening hand is 3 traps, Blue Boy, this, and Secrets because it puts 3 spellbooks in graveyard, barring Valor, Fiendish Chain, stuff like that. You'll have protection, you'll have a tower, and you'll have Fate. You'll have 3 traps of Fate. So this, I don't like it, but this was to help me get the ball rolling. And then I'll quickly talk about all my monsters. Don't I have a Priestess around here? This is awkward. Hold up. There's a Priestess. I promise. There you are, little girl. So, I decided to play more of the World version because I'm not playing Justice. Even though I play a back row heavy deck, I don't like Justice, how it leaves you wide open for an attack and it turns off your Fate. It does give you a +1 and a Priestess in hand, but I like Temperance better because it's immediate to the field. And then with the World, you can actually get 2 spellbooks back from your deck, or from your graveyard. So Justice requires you to play a spellbook that turn, and will give you a +1, but the World will give you a +2. If you've played, I mean, you probably had to have played a spellbook that turn and use Temperance. So I played 3 of those, and I played 1 Stoic, hoping to search out this. I never got this effect off. The one time I summoned it, it was Phoenix Wing blasted back to the top of my deck. So that was weird. I'm almost debating cutting one of these and putting in 2 of these. I hate drawing this card, and I drew it 13 times. I think I said 13. I think it was actually only 11 now that I think about it. It was 12. I wrote in the tournament report. I can add it up. Uh, so this card is not actually that good as you think it would be. I mean, it's great for spot removal and stuff, but this just blows up the entire fucking world. Like, that's really nice. And it gets 2 spellbooks back from your graveyard. If you have a dominating field position already, this is better, but I mean, against the Inzektor player, I had no business winning the game, and he had like 73 cards on the field, and I was like, how is this going through? Like, why don't you have any responses? He drew a Veiler next turn. Ha. Well, actually, he card D into a Veiler. Whatever. So those are my choices for that. And then let's talk about spell and trap protection removal. So I played a really weird... So this is what I opted for in terms of spell trap removal / negation. Wisdom is not as good as you think it is. I used it maybe twice the entire tournament because Wisdom doesn't Wisdom doesn't destroy Dolce Ticket. Wisdom doesn't destroy Fire Formation Tinky. Wisdom can't be chained to pop another back row when they bind MST. Like, it's really only good. I mean, I guess it's good to protect Blue Boy and Temperance and stuff, but it's really good just to protect the world. And having one of them, I think, you only really need one of them. So I played more spot removal in MST. I never regretted playing this card. It was phenomenal every time I played it. It's like, this is just a really good card. I don't think you're ever really going to replace spot removal in terms of this. Chain Whirlwind's really good, but that's a different story. Second night I played 2 of these. I was up on the fence. I do wonder what I should do about the proportion of... Maybe I should play 2 Wisdom because it's another spellbook and it's searchable and I can get it back with World. But, I mean, this doesn't... Spellbook of Wisdom doesn't negate Trap Stun. Spellbook of Wisdom doesn't negate Gear Accelerator. Spellbook of Wisdom doesn't negate Dust Tornado. Like, I mean, hell, this even does things like negate Fiendish Chain. I mean, I guess you have to set it on the turn. It costs 1,000 life points, and it's prone to MST. But, I mean, this is just so many things that Spellbook of Wisdom simply doesn't do. Spellbook of Wisdom... I mean... Hell, half the time if you like Torrential when I'm summoning the world, I really don't care. Like this, I mean, maybe I'd do it if I was in a really good field position, but like even against like rogue matchups, like this doesn't like Spellbook of Wisdom stops one of your spellcasters from being destroyed by Mirror Force. It stops all of them. What if you need to summon Digesto Phoenix to attack? I change someone's against a Mirror Force. Spellbook of Wisdom would have been worthless because Digesto Phoenix is like a... Is it a Pyro? I don't know. Lava Volchain is a Sea Serpent, so I don't know what's going on in life anymore. I like this over Trap Stun because you can't really chain on top of this. Like, I guess this is my main motivation for this was in the Gear Gaia matchup. This would either stop Gear Accelerator or when they try to go off, and Trap Stun is very common. I play a lot of traps, and they'll play Trap Stun and actually this card, and this negates both of those so that you can still play your cards. I don't know if I found the perfect proportion yet. Maybe I won't even play this and I'll put in Trap Stun instead of this. Maybe I find that 3 MST works better. I'm not sure, but that's why I played those. Let's go into the more other unconventional traps. Well, I think Warning is is it the best trap in the game? Maybe my mind is fuzzy and I can't think of anything better, but sure, best trap. Why not? Why wouldn't I play that? That's also I felt a little bit about things like Bottomless, which was alright. I mean, it's another trap I could play. Maybe I should play Threatening. Maybe I should just play the World Turbo with 3 Threatening Roars. I don't know. Maybe I should do that. Anyway. Then I also play 2 Mirror Force because it's also a really good trap. Maybe I should do that. That sounds like a good idea. 2 Mirror Force, which is too strong. Too strong. Maybe I should do... Jeez, that sounds like a really good idea now that I think about it. Then I also played 1 Torrent. This was much better than this. I mean, the one time I really used this effectively was to bounce a Priestess back to hand when I didn't have a Wisdom in hand, so I could drop it again to get around to Bottomless, because... Cool. And then I also played 2 Divine Wrath. I thought this card was really useful. It pitches the world, but it's also just better than this piece of crap, Fiendish Chain. Like, I don't know why I played this. This card isn't very... I don't think this is very good against anything. I mean, Forbidden Lance is running around a lot, and same as MST, especially against... MST and Dust Tornado, especially against my deck. So this... The only time this was ever useful was... I wanted a Torrential to go through, and he had a Omega on the field. I don't know why he made Omega. He could have made so many other things and killed me again in the Bujin matchup. But he made Omega, and I chained Torrential, and he chained his effect, and then I chained Fiendish Chain, and I was like, that's 3 chains, and I got really discouraged. It was 3 instead of 2. Lastly, I played Threatening Roar just because this was a good anti-OTK card if people tried to go all in. Because if someone gets rid of the Spellcaster, they're like, ha, Fate is no longer a factor. And then, well, that's true, but like, back when Mermails were big and they could just OTK, Diva Megalo in an open field meant exactly 8,000 damage, or, against Heretics or something. Like, it's really, I actually am testing. Someone went all in against, they already summoned like 3 monsters, and they summoned a Sue and popped this as a back row, and they're like, oh. I was like, nice, play Dark Hole next turn. So I know I had a lot of really unconventional choices, and I kind of regret playing a lot of random cards like Threatening Roar and Fiendish Chain, and possibly even 7 Tools, even though I'm a huge proponent of it. The world was, it was very hard to lose games after I resolved the world, and so, maybe stunning my opponent and drawing 2 per turn is a great idea in the long run, but against some matchups, just blowing up everything, it's a JD that gets 2 spellbook backs from your graveyard. I don't know. I may be using the World Turbo next time I play an event. Definitely not this next regional. I don't want to. Spellbooks is fun and everything, but it's not. A good spellbook player it's very easy to do something that goes 7-2 at a regional, because it's like, well, you're going to, to be honest, you have a very good matchup against a lot of rogue things, but, you're just going to draw poorly, as I did a couple times, or run into things like, oh, look, Ophion, haha, you can't summon your Priestess or your World, and then I have 5 back row because I'm playing Evil Swarm, and then I'm going to go 4-5 because I'm a terrible player and don't know what I'm doing, but I just have an Ophion on the field, and no one can beat me because of that, because your Priestess in hand. Anyway, side deck choices, I'll explain. Oh, I already explained those in the article. I don't have to explain myself to you. Ha! Lastly, I'll quickly go over my extra deck, why I had so many freaking rank 6s in here. Originally, I had a random Prophecy Destroyer in here. I was like, might as well put a 3rd target for Temperance. But that's why I would just put another world in before. Yeah, why was I talking about putting another Prophecy Destroyer and being like, I don't mind if I draw it, when I would just play 2 worlds, because world is so much better. But worst case scenario, you can actually ban it, or why I did that is I have so many cool rank 6s. That's a rank 2. Those are rank 7s. Okay, this is the only rank 6 I can. Oh, and Naruto. You can actually banish a Temperance for Temperance with Spellbook of Life to make it level 6. Banish 3 spellbooks from your graveyard to summon back Destroyer, attack for a lot, and then make one of these, which are really good. But that was, it seems a little unnecessary and gimmicky. Like, that's the same. Hell, I'm already playing a lot of traps, so why would I try to play even more gimmicky stuff? But hopefully that was good enough explanation. If you have any more questions, because I know I can ramble and make little to no sense sometimes, feel free to message me or leave a comment. It'd be cool if you subscribe, because right now my biggest fan is John Brennan, and he's great and everything, but if you want to subscribe, that'd be cool. Anyway, until next time, I'll be posting an article Aftermath shortly, and talking about the regional in another video shortly, or before this, whichever one gets posted sooner. But anyway, bye.